Hey, IDS 302. Welcome to Module 3, Video 1. Um, thanks for, I know it's been a holiday weekend. I kind of took the day off yesterday. I don't usually check out like that, but I was up north in Cottonwood, Sedona, and then it just was just too much to try to get everything done. So I got back this morning. This is Monday. It's about what, 9:50. I got back at about 7 a.m. I left really early. Want to beat that Memorial Day traffic. Okay, so got a couple of, I don't know, general information. For any of you interested in climate change, whether or not you're doing your report on it or not, um, got a few links I'm going to add to this announcement. For example, I saw it this morning. There was a article on New York Times, I think it was on MSN also. More than a third of heat deaths are tied to climate change, study says. Okay, so it's interesting, and remember the key word there is study says. Okay, um, according to a new study, which is linked in the New York Times article. However, the link isn't up yet. It's not found. DOI not found yet. But they do mention the journal, and it says this sweeping new research published on Monday in the journal Nature Climate Change. The key word there is published, right? It's a journal, and if we look at it, the academic journal Nature Climate Change. It is a, I don't know if they have an about here, content policies. Well, it's an open access journal. It means we don't really have to pay for it. But it is, they're talking about advertising here. Let's take a look. Digital advertising. Not sure they accept advertising on here. I don't know what it is, but it's published research, has gone through a peer review, and has data to back it up. So again, this is like what we're doing, right? I'm going to include some of the links here to provide that to you. And as you get further into step 3, especially, wow, here we are. Step 3, what it is going to be an annotated bibliography. You're going to have to use a lot of academic journals, right? So, okay. Also, I gave myself a birthday present last week that I've been wanting to get for about a year or so. I ended up having to pay full price or something, but it's called masterclass.com. Some of you may have seen the commercials for it. I think they advertise on YouTube and all over the place, I think. But I've been trying to get in there. It's just a, it's not like an academic website. It's a website where there's classes presented by um, accomplished people in their field. And I find that very interesting. Um, and I've always wanted to sign up. Very, very high quality visuals, excellent. But if you're into writing, there are, God, probably 15 at least writers that you've heard of if you're a reader that have their classes. I just took a class on Saturday by Joyce Carol Oates on writing short stories. Found it to be fairly fascinating. And if it's not fascinating, then I find it to be stuff that, hey, it's affirming. I already know that. That's good. I'm doing it right. But you'll learn things. It's pretty cool. Filmmaking, Spike Lee, a number of other filmmakers, directors, Ron Howard, Martin Scorsese, more I'm forgetting. For uh, uh, you know, what is it? Photography. You got Ann Leibovitz. You got a National Geographic photographer, and others, of course. Comedy. You've got Judd Apatow, Steve Martin, and such. You've got screenwriting. You've got some very current, popular performers, artists, and I think it's pretty cool. And the reason I'm bringing it up is because it's only 7 days, but I got 3 7-day passes for it. And people I hang with just don't want to do stuff like this. Um, but if anybody's interested and want to see a 7-day pass and see what it's like, let me know. I don't know if nobody wants to or if 10 people want to. If it's more than three, then the first three that ask are going to get the passes. Okay, so I'll include that. Check it out, masterclass. All right, onward and upwards. This week, Module 3, we're already in. We've got chapters 7, 8, and 9. Introduction to Interdisciplinary Research, 10 pages. Obvious reasons why that's a good one and important. Methods of integration, because why? Integration is what? The process of what? Interdisciplinary studies, who? You, us. Tanner, chapter 9, describing interdisciplinary integrative learners. Now, for those of you that had me in 301 and had this book, and I have it in 302, for the ones who aren't going to complain on their evaluations like someone did, like, I had to use the same book. Well, I'm sorry I didn't have you buy another $100 book. But you might be able to see how 301 was focused more on foundational interdisciplinary studies, concepts, definitions, history, uses, things like that. And I'm sure all of you who didn't take my class, you found 301 to be such a thing. And 302, you can see now that there are chapters in here that you probably wouldn't think very much about in 301, but in 302, I think it's like, it's emerging, it's an integration of 301, 302. You're getting into foundational material and a review of it here, but you're also getting more on what integration looks like, what interdisciplinary research looks like, methods, okay, and describing interdisciplinary integrative learners. It's important for you as this is your discipline. I'm going to start teaching diversity in organizations for organizational leadership in summer B. I'm really looking forward to it because I like to broaden my portfolio, of course, and I think I have good practical experience in diversity in organizations. But I guess the reason I'm bringing that in mix too is because I still have people. I just was talking to some guy at McDonald's up in Carefree Highway on my way up north Sunday, and he was just jibber jabbing. He's about 73, Vietnam vet, and says, "What do you teach there?" And I told him, and it's always like a head scratcher. Like, where am I going to go with this interdisciplinary studies? But now that I add organizational leadership to that, it helps a little bit. But again, it's your field. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. Okay, so Easter egg number 1. What did I have here? IDS is a field of study. Don't know why I have it that way, but IDS is a field of study. So yes, am I doing kind of an end around from discipline? Yeah, because interdisciplinary studies, obviously the word disciplinary is in there, but it seeks to obviously break down the boundaries of a discipline. So it's free to, not gonna say a virus, but I just did, to go ahead and look at other disciplines. So itself it's more of a field of study than it is a discipline, I suppose. But it does qualify as a discipline, okay, even though it's a little clumsy. Okay, now we get to one of the funnest things, discussion, identifying disciplines. It's fun for me because I get more views on my video. Hal Brown, The Incomplete Stories of an Irregular Guy. That was produced, directed by me and my Protein Life Productions, the one-man band. And it's 33 minutes. I'd like you to view it. Pay attention. I hope you like it. I like it. A lot of people like it. It's pretty good. It's my friend Hal. Lives in Hawaii now. I miss him. Haven't seen him in a couple years. Sends me texts once in a while. Everything to want to. One day we were having a little text discussion about certain issues, and he rubbed me the wrong way, so I rubbed him back the wrong way, and he probably had a few too shots of whiskey that night and said he was going to fly to Phoenix and kick my ass. So he's like 74. I said, Hal. So the next day I said, hey, you're right, Hal. I'm sorry, you're right. Yeah. But anyways, he's my big brother that I never had, and he's lived such an interesting life he's living. And we used to sit at his house. I used to sit there. We'd go Saturday night. I'd go over there, smoke cigars, he'd smoke other stuff, have a couple of shots, and he would tell me stories. We were both selling our art. He's a jewelry designer, but he's also a former member of the Hells Angels, and he's got a hell of a story to tell. We met at the markets. We were selling our work. We found out we lived close together, so we hung out a lot. And he told me the stories, and I said, Hal, someday, man, I got to make a movie about you. And he really liked that idea and chuckled. And finally I was able to do it. I said, let's do this. So this is my what do they call it? My project, my capstone for my master's degree in interdisciplinary studies. And what I'd like you to do here, and why I'm doing this, is the way we look at things again in the world, especially when you up your game into a smarter level of living. You don't always have to critique everything or examine everything, but it's good to develop your skills of observation and critical thinking and how they work hand in hand. So you see an issue, you see something, you don't necessarily have to knee jerk it. That's, I mean, the guy that I told you about that I met up in, I mean, all he could do was, diss young people, just disrespect young people. You don't know any history. You don't care. You don't know right from wrong. And obviously it's BS. And I keep telling people, stop it. I mean, my personal opinion is that my peers, and as you get older, you start slipping and you start lacking empathy, compassion, open-mindedness, and critical thinking. Those four major points that people lack as they get older. And they decide that their own view of things is the right one. It's a very touchy subject, especially when you get into truth. Okay, even my colleague that I discussed with, not many people are big on relevant truths, big on objective and subjective truths, or subjective, I said. I'm somebody who believes that my truth is different. Is that all beard hair? What the hell? Excuse me. I tried getting a haircut today. It didn't work. Doggone it, that irritates me. Disregard. Um, that truth is relative. Your truth might be different than mine. I firmly believe that. How can someone have the same truths as I do? And of course, the definition of truth then comes into play. For somebody who was born in 1958, was raised in white bread America, and observed certain things, did certain things. I started as a massive conservative in my 30s, became a massive liberal in my 40s, 50s. That's just the way it is. I don't disrespect. I mean, I wish we could have the old conservative, liberal, progressive discussions and debates. That would be fine. We don't have that anymore. As you who are doing current political climate know that. Maybe, but you might be too young to have experienced what it was like to have rational conversations. Okay, but again, you know, here's my point. An example: the old guy I talked to, 74, talking about when he was kids, right from wrong. You knew right from wrong. You knew right from wrong. But did you now? Did you now? Do you think in the 60s they knew right from wrong when they had separate lunch counters, when sending kids over to die in Vietnam? Okay. Was there, I can keep going generation by generation, say, was it true? Okay. Back farther, was it right from wrong to not let women vote? All right. To not recognize alternative relationships from just cisgendered, whatever, heterosexual. Okay. People's right and wrong are always different. Okay. Anyways, boy, did I get on a soapbox. This is just a quick video. Sorry, guys, gals. Sorry, it's just the way it goes. Um, okay, so but Hal's video, Hal goes through his life story up until about 2016, and what I want you to do is look at it from the eyes of critical thinking, academics. I want you to look at everything about the film. I want you to identify disciplines that were involved in this film. Okay? I want you to see it from an academic's point of view so that you can understand. If you had to analyze this from an interdisciplinary standpoint, what disciplines could you name that are involved here and why and how? It's just a practice thing. It's just applying your interdisciplinary observational skills to real life types of things, right? Okay. It's fun. 40 points. I think there's a response and if anybody gets, I usually like offer 10 bonus points. If you get, there's two of them that I think are hard to find, hard to get. And it's not like I want you to, oh, he mentioned frogs. Oh, it's a biology. No, I want you to, there's two that fairly obvious that people miss all the time. So we'll see what happens. Anyways, Quiz 3 is 25 points. It's 5 questions, 5 points each, and it's about the ethics, about research and ethics that was in Module 1, I believe. Look at that. Go back to it and look at it. Okay, that's what it's about pretty much there, okay? Easter egg number 2, no, I, me, or my. You've done fabulous. The brief amount of, little small amount of papers I've seen so far in step 1, nobody used I, me, my. I'm so happy. I know there's going to be a couple, and it's fine. You'll get a chance to correct it, but you can stay away from I, me, and my, because this isn't about you. And so far, you've recognized that, and it's very impressive. It's not an easy thing to accomplish, to be able to sit there and not talk about yourself and why you chose this topic. But you've done a great job. Okay, I want you to remember the overarching question, because sometimes, you submit it in your research assignment, but you're kind of disconnecting it from that to the actual research now. So what are some of the opinions, perceptions, and experiences regarding blank revealed in a survey of random adults? That's what's telling you where this research is going. That's why I give it to everybody. It explains what you're doing. So be careful not to be isolating your research. Say you do study of student loan debt, and you're thinking about students, thinking about your peers, thinking about people that have loans. Stop it. Everybody's touched by student loans. I mean, that's a big statement to make, but it's true. And you know why it has to be true? Because you're doing it for random adults, not for random students, not for random student loan borrowers, not for random Parent Plus borrowers, random adults. But everybody will have something to say about student loans. Because well, there's people that never took out a student loan that don't want any forgiveness because, well, I didn't have to do whatever. Everybody, I don't want to get into that, but stay with the random adults. When it comes to climate change, political crisis, anything, it's random adults, okay? So think of that as you move through the research steps, that you're going to be asking questions of random adults. And so you don't want to go veering too far off that highway, okay? Let me know if you have questions about that, of course, and if you're feeling like maybe you are, you're not, you don't know how to stick around that way, and we'll talk about it, because we're getting to the point we're going to make the survey pretty quick here, and I'll be posting a video on how to do that. So that's an important thing, all right? The overarching question. Okay, your Tanner step 2s, wait, are we only in step 2 right now? I'm thinking about step 3. You're only in step 2. Okay, you're only in step 2. Thank goodness. That'll be due this Sunday. Look at the sample again. I'll talk more about step 2 on the Wednesday or Thursday edition of the video, okay? And you should be fine there. But look at the samples again. Now, in terms of grading, I think I have 15 step 1s got turned in. Yes, 15 to score, and 1. Somebody already did the HAL video. Okay, good luck with that. But I don't score anything until after it's due, really, unless I did. Those that turned in early, I was able to score a lot of those. And again, look at the comments I leave for you, and that should answer a lot of your questions. If you have any specific questions, you let me know, okay? By the way, Venezia, catching all my white hairs, is they earned their way back to Serie A in Italian football, soccer. I was in Venice. I was in Venice in 2018, and it was the only city I was in Italy that had a decent shirt for their club. So I'm all for Venezia. All right, I think that's it for now. I'm a little groggy from the weekend, but have a good one. Kept it under 20 minutes. And let me know if you have any questions, comments, concerns. You have to. You can't just, spin your wheels and then complain at the end. Well, you can, but I hope you don't. All right. Forks up. Peace.